either way.
Now, usually I'll just jump straight into my thing, but here I need to, I think I need to let people know who's who and what's what first. Now, the clip I'm going to play for you, you'll see the dude, the host, his name is Taharka Bey. In the middle, you'll see a youngster. That's the mother. Her name is Onika. And the other youngster on the other end is her friend. Then you'll see Taharka put up a picture of the accused. Her name is Jamila. She's a new Black Panther Party member. The other two ladies fled that organization after realizing that it was a hustle and cultish. Now, the mother found herself in need of a babysitter, and she let the new Black Panther woman do it. And they're talking about a recording of the mother's child being coerced into blaming someone else for the act. And the accusation is that the boy was raped by the new Black Panther lady's husband. And I'm not going to call it molestation because, the lady said that the boy came to her and said, "Mommy, my booty hurts." So to me, that's more than molestation. That's penetration now. Now you don't rape somebody.
My brother reached out to me, and I won't say his name, reached out to me, and he's a Moorish brother. And he told me that Jamila, who watched or was looking after your child, all of a sudden, now listen to this, all of a sudden, she reaches out to this Moorish brother. And she tells the Moorish brother that I'm going to have somebody on my show that is an abuser, referring to Sister Onika. Now, here we go. She knows Onika ready to come on the show, and she reaches out to my Moorish brother because she has no access to me. So my Moorish brother reaches out to me out of concern and say, "Brother, this is what I just received from somebody." And what he provided me is what Jamila provided him. 13-minute snippets of it's coercion with a 4-year-old child.
Seconds.
Yeah, 13, what did I say?
Minutes.
13 seconds.
One was 12 seconds,
And the other one was
13 seconds.
Right, she said.
But if you listen to the full recording,
But I want to say this. 1 second, Onika. I said, "Brother, I want you to tell her to send the full recording. Because in that full recording, you will ultimately hear someone in the background telling the baby what to say." Jamila is Nzinga, and Nzinga is Ali Muhammad's sister. This is the one who was watching the child. So now, this sick person, that's her, is saying that, and this is not alleged, she is saying that she's going to release these recordings. But what she's going to release is the snippets that are doctored. I heard the recording. And because I do investigative journalism, I already know that it sounds real funny that you have edited down to 12 seconds and 13 seconds. And all of the snippets are edited down so you cannot hear in the background, and she's watching now. So you cannot hear in the background her telling a 4-year-old what to say.
And just for the record, I don't know what's true or what's not true. All this stuff are just accusations as far as I know. And I'm not playing this so, we can come to the comment board to talk about how we feel about raping children, especially because I'm assuming that we all feel the same way about the matter. I'm playing this because I want to talk about a certain pathology of all these Black Power people. Now, the mother's son's name is Jeremiah, and the dude you'll hear in the background with the mother, I'm assuming, is her boyfriend. And the picture that Taharka is going to put up is the new Black Panther lady, Jamila, and her husband, the accused. But listen close to what the mother and the boyfriend calls the husband, because that's the pathology I want to get to.
You can hear Jamila tell my son, don't say that. Say this. Okay, you're doing good. You can hear it in the background. You know? And after that, that's when DCF and the detective got involved. And Jeremiah had to go down to speak to the detective. Now, I could not be there when Jeremiah was talking to the detective because I had a mental breakdown in between all of it, like literally a mental breakdown. So I physically could not be there, but because there was a restraining order in place with me and my children's father, the DCF handled it where he could get the kids. He can get the kids temporarily. So I had to sign over temporary custody to my child's father so he could be able to handle it because I was mentally not capable to do that. And I did communicate with my children's father, and he said that when he said Uncle Joe, he was talking about Jamila's husband because his name is Jose, and he also goes by Joe.
Thank you. Okay.
So he was talking about him.
He was talking about him.
Joe, the cracker.
Joe, the cracker, yes. Oh, sorry. I mean, the Puerto Rican.
Cracker J.
And they still together till this day.
We're still together to this day.
And she's protecting him.
When you know he's Puerto Rican, then why insist that he's white? The pathology I wanted to get into. The thing about calling him white was done twice in that video, at least twice. Why it's so many people that's able to be seen as being for the people. It's white people. Just talk about them. What Onika and her man did by calling the dude white is how she got caught up in that situation in the first place. Lured, then hooked by that white people thing. You got a Puerto Rican there and a black woman that you're saying is helping them, but you can't get white people off your mind. A white Hispanic, the white Arab. I've heard a lot of people just make somebody white after something happens. I remember the real brother, to make his point, he transferred Muammar Gaddafi into a white man. You know, so to drive his point home into the ones that he knows are brainwashed by the white thing. While Umar has been able to do what he's been doing, and for how long he's been doing it without opening that school. Just keep talking about white people and how we're so oppressed. That's how.
With your stupid ass.
This animal here, the one who shot the little boy, I think the little boy was about 6 years old. I've listened to a lot of people talking about it, and about 8 people called him a white man. Just made him white. Also part of the reason for making people white, to fixate on white, is to create the delusion that there is only black and white. That's so to warp your depth perception of the world. To blacken your horizons so you can't see. Depth perception is off, is why a lot of you welcome that critical race theory. It's because you can't see the devil in it. You know, like they say, the devil is in the details. So busy trying to get revenge on white people that you can't even see that we're going to pay a price for that critical race trap. Now, some of you have seen me use this snowstorm before. And I've used it to illustrate the pathology I'm talking about. It's called a whiteout, when you can't see what's in front of you because everything is white. Let me show you something.
That's still actually something that I watch from time to time. Like on YouTube, like I'll watch episodes. To Kill a Predator, or To Catch a Predator. It should have been To Kill a Predator. But To Catch a Predator was a show with Chris Hansen, and he used to come in. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Hayes. He used to come in and he used to he used to be waiting there, and they would have the decoy, that show where they caught an assistant DA and he ended up blowing his brains out, that show where they got the fire department chief and there was a situation there and they caught other members of the fire department. They caught a rabbi. Let me tell you something. Chris Hansen, he had a hard time letting that show go. He tried to rebrand it, but he couldn't rebrand it. You can't rebrand it because why? Because all of the people that he was catching, the majority of the people, let me say that, the majority of the people that he was catching were affluent white people. And affluent white people are going to sue you in order to protect their reputation. And even with the assistant DA, I mean, geez, they dropped the charges down, but he was still going to lose his whole career. So he just blew his brains out. So if we really look at that show, which is another reason why that show was so dangerous and they had to take it off air, was because it reveals that there are particular races that are more prone to that type of behavior. There were some, black men that were caught in these stings, but the majority of them.
White people seek children more, the real ISIS said. But who is she pandering to when she heightens the presence of white people? Even when the situation is the violation of children, she still panders. Pandering to who, though? You, who suffer from the pathology of the white thing. Do you know that even with rats and mice, when there's a big rat problem, say at a business like a farm or some industrial sized place, people lay poison down. And do you know that you can't keep feeding them that same poison? You got to switch it up because after a while, rats get wise to that bait. They smell that same poison on their dead, so eventually they learn to stay away from that smell. But y'all, you keep taking the same bait over and over and over.
You'll never learn.
Not even as wise as rodents, but claiming you're here to empower a whole race of people.